Are you suffering? Have you suffered? Is your suffering a companion throughout your life? So many of us suffer. Perhaps those who do not suffer are rather dead inside. For who could not suffer, awakened to the nature of a world such as this? Over thousands of years men have killed and continue to kill other men. For profits, for ideologies, in the name of religions, in politics, in the battle of war, in the name of freedom and democracy, in the name of God, and in the name of love. Who at all alive, with any remaining degree of sensitivity, could not suffer? Is there any solution to our eternal sorrow? Is seeking a solution even the correct approach? Or is it perhaps a question of a wiser nature, not to ask, what is the root cause of all suffering? Many have been and are our attempts to bring our suffering to an end. On a personal, so-named individual level of our lives, we seek to end suffering by the taking of drugs. These have so little effect other than making other men rich and perhaps numbing our existence to the continuity of our inner pains. But regardless, suffering continues. Turn a corner, it is there. Meet a new day and awaken to the continuity of sorrow. Men run from their inner inadequacies in this life in all manner of ways, in every direction, and all are futile to ending inner psychological suffering. We are not talking of the suffering of the body here. That is quite a different matter, although suffering of the body may also increase the potential for the inner suffering of the mind. Men run into ambition, into becoming something in life, ever seeking the distraction of accumulation and ambitious desires, ever seeking power and glory. Is there any relationship to this outer manifestation, to the inner, seemingly irresolvable nature of inner sorrow? What brings our lives to pain and battle, to conflict and war, and to the inevitable great instability of every man's life? Why does the natural-born inevitability of death bring a man trembling to his knees in fear? And why, in this observable fact, are men so quick to take the lives of other men in the very same position and of the very same psychological standing as themselves? Religions and medicine profit from our fear of death. We seek at all costs a continuity. Why do we seek a continuity to a life of inner and outer turmoil, conflict, pain, fear, desire, and sorrow? We cling to our lives in desperation of it all. It seems the only thing of any importance is to continue, no matter how diabolical the quality of that continuity may be, no matter how we are brought to suffer, or how, on the reverse side of the coin, we bring the lives of others to sufferance. We seek, above all else, to continue. And as we age, we gladly swallow copious quantities of chemicals in the futile hope of continuing our ever-progressive level of frailty. We hook our ailing bodies to machines, and we seek an assurance in the affirmed ideologies of others, educated into us, that we shall continue after death. We may, and we may not, as tomorrow cannot be known by this day. Why do we seek to find what will come at the end of a meaningless life existence of sorrow? As we will meet tomorrow when it becomes this day, so we shall then meet the truth of what happens at death on the day of our deaths. And at that point, we will come to understand the actual nature of what happens and what it means when we die. Why do we live this way? We begin our lives with a glint in our eyes. We live a year and a day, and we are awake to a magical mystery within the presence of every moment of our juvenile existence. As we age, as we progress towards the inevitability of our demise, we lose this sense of childhood wonder. We find importance only in educated things. We find importance in what we are told and what we accept as the true values of life, which may not be the true values of life at all. Ambition, success, a sense of becoming something is held in the highest of importance in all fields, and what is becoming can only be becoming in a process of continuity, and the enemy of all becoming is its ending. The ending of all becoming is death. What is within us, within our societies, within our every inner and every outer movement we make, in the utter futility of the daily action of living a life with no understanding at all of what is living that life, or of what that life lived actually is. What is it within and without which so seeks to become, and in the process of becoming necessitates a ground of continuity? Is it not the past? Can anything continue in life other than that which came before? If a new quality continues, how can it be the new if that which knows continuity has existed before? The new in continuity becomes the old, and the old is not the new. The past is the old, and we live our lives as the past. Traditionally, humanity, it seems, has always lived in the past, and education helps the continuity of this divisive sufferance. Why is living in the past a sufferance? Because the past is not a living thing. The past is dead to life. The past carries loss and hurt and pain and tragedy and misunderstanding and disappointments and dissatisfactions and fears and depressions and worries. On the so-named positive side of the scale, the past carries desire and the incessant demand for the repetition of pleasure, and all of this is the ground of the continuity of the life of our kind, which is lived on the death of past memories. The past is found only in one place in the life of man. That place is within the memory cells of his brain. Education played a large hand in enslaving our lives to an inner prison cell of memories. Every one of us, at a very young age, was forced to remain within a state of constant memorization for at least 12 years at a time. Our growing brains were developing an understanding of a valid approach to meet life. We were misled. We were misled by those themselves who themselves had previously been misled. We were educated to the seeming virtue of living life in memories, which is knowledge, which is the movement of thinking. And we were educated that the truest of values of life is to be found in the growth and the continuity and the becoming of that knowledge into a conceptual future, which, because it arises from the remembered past, is no different in quality to the past which gave birth to it. Our futures we all hunger after are a mere modified continuity of what came before. We were educated to identify with birth name. Everything and all is given a name. A word is a symbol, A symbol is not what it points towards. Each of us was educated to identify the ever-increasing movement of remembered information in the memory cells of the brain to being our activity, the activity of the symbol, the activity of the word, the activity of the name. We were educated into many falsehoods of immense proportions, that somehow the name, the word, the symbol given was responsible for this, and that this was the true nature of our lives. We were educated to see our inner world of knowledge as though we, the name, was responsible for the manifestation of this inner movement. We were educated to see ourselves as a thinker of thoughts, an inner process of eternal continuity in a field of movement which is nothing other than fleeting in nature. And so we grow to live a life valuing, of course, that which we see ourselves to be. For if we exist in separation, if we exist in isolation from all other things in this universe, then we must protect that which we are, for others may come to harm us. Life itself becomes the ultimate of dangers to our lives. For cruel life now promises the ending of what I am. What cruelty is this in life, which gave birth to me only to promise the kiss of death at the end and the total annihilation of that which I am? This would appear to be how we live. This would appear to be an accepted viewpoint of our lives. Is this accepted view the actual truth of the matter? Could it be that how we have been conditioned to live by those who came before us is wrong? Could it be that we have always got it wrong? Could it be that life and death are the very same movement? Could it be that life does not carry a past? Could it be that to life the past is over and so never a burden? Could it be that life knows nothing of memory? Could it be that death is the greatest blessing and beauty any man could ever hope to meet in life? Not at the end of life, not at the end of a suffering, fearful, ambitious, pleasure-driven continuity of the past, but this very moment. For unless the past ends, how can death, which is the ultimate of endings, ever be met? If I place death forever at my last breath, what is it that dies other than a conceptual continuity in memories of what I have been? And what is a continuity of what I have been other than the past? And is the past not already dead? And so has my life itself ever truly met its life? Can we truly say a life of fear, a life of inner trembling, a life of self-interest in the continuity and building upon what I am, which is what I have been, which is the past, which can only be the past in continuity, has ever been alive? There may be a wisdom in the suffering continuity of what we are this day, in our continuity of our great illusions. Suffering, if met without any attempt to escape or go beyond it, may lead our lives to truth. Suffering may lead our lives into passion if we have the inner resolve to face this human condition, ever present though often hidden. Suffering is screaming in our ears from within and without that all is not well in how we are this day meeting life. and suffering can only ever end when what is not well in how we live has come to meet its end. There may be great wisdom in suffering. If you can find the ability to listen to suffering, there may be great wisdom to be found. Do not seek the escape from what is into a pill. Do not accept the words of others, neither in religion nor in medicine, not in philosophy, nor in your own ideologies. For your own ideologies have greatly arrived into your life from the previous unquestioned accepted words of others whispered into your ears at a time of your life when you were too young to question and too naive to understand the value of doing so. Face your inner suffering naked, free from any desire to go beyond it. For to seek to go beyond it is to seek to continue. And what continues but the past? And what suffers other than the dead past of a continuity in remembered words and images, concepts and names? Seek no escape. Hide your head no longer in entertainment, in the pursuit of pleasure, sexual or otherwise, in the harbouring of what you call wealth, which is no wealth at all. Wealth is only to be found in meeting life as it is. But to meet life as it is, the meeting of life as it is not must come to end. You must die as you are living this day to come to understand the beauty of what it means to end. And your ending shall become your beginning, and your beginning will be found in your ending. And life will become something different, to anything you have ever known, or to anything you could ever know. Life will become a living and dying thing, and you will fear neither, for you will no longer be living as a concept. You will no longer be living as a name. You will no longer see value in continuity, ambition, accumulation, or so named success. You will see value only in what you are. And what you are will be what you see. And in such blessing, if you have the stamina to travel so far, you will find the beauty and the joy of which only death can bring. The meeting of life as it actually is, not as it is progressively moved towards. And death shall be something long forgotten. For death and life shall become to be seen as they actually are. Death and life shall be seen as one movement. The door of this new life of life and death is the pain of your sorrow today. Blessed are those who suffer, for they shall come to see the kingdom of life. Stay with your sorrow. Seek neither escape nor understanding out with of the immediate manifestation of what you meet. Be patient, ever watchful, and if you have the inner resolve, if you can stand the naturally arduous nature of meeting what you are, which is what you are not, then your eyes may awaken, and life and death shall be completely transformed, and your life may come to hold great meaning, great understanding, and great beauty. And your life will be the beginning of a new kind of life for humanity, of which you are.
What is the meaning of death? It's very important to ask this question, because it's part of our life. It's not something at the end of life. Obviously, the organism comes to an end. Through disease, old age, and so on. Excellent. And we, living as we are, in conflict and misery, confusion, uncertainty, having faith in some fantastic projection of thought, cannot face that fact. What is death? What is the meaning? What is the beauty? What is the significance of it? As we pointed out earlier in these talks, our consciousness is made up of its content. The content is our life. The beliefs, the dogmas, the rituals, the fears, the sorrows, the anxieties, the wounds, the division of nationalities, the Christian, the Buddhist, and the Hindu, and the Islamic world. Our consciousness actually is the consciousness of all mankind. So your consciousness is the consciousness of all human beings. You are the entire world. The world is you. You may have different skin, you may belong to different religion, call yourself by a nationalistic name, but actually, psychologically we are talking about, you are like the rest of mankind. Driven, uncertain, tremendously anxious, imitating, conforming, and so on and so on. So, when there is death, the organism dies. And that consciousness of mankind goes on. It's only those who free themselves from those contents of consciousness, they liberate themselves from that. They liberate themselves from the significance of death. So we must go and inquire very closely what is the meaning of death. Have you ever ended anything without explanation, without resistance, without seeking a reward or punishment? End something. Have you? Have you ever ended completely attachment? That's what it means to die, to end. You can't, when death comes, all that is cut off, your attachment to a person. So, the significance of death, in its most profound sense, is the ending. So a wise man doesn't wait for death to end, but ends, brings to an end fear, sorrow, attachment, loneliness, sorrow. And when there is an ending so completely, there's totally a different dimension. That is only part of this significance of life, of death. Death has an extraordinary sense of beauty. You'll be surprised to hear it. Because with death, the ending of something also is the beginning of something else, which is love. Yes, I'll show it to you. It's good to be skeptical. It's good to doubt. It's good not to accept anything anybody says, including the speaker, especially the speaker. Doubt your gurus and they'll disappear. Don't clap so loud. Doubt your own beliefs, your own longings, your own desires, your own ambitions, your own sectarian spirit. And also you should doubt, question, be skeptical, so that you find for yourself what is truth. Not depend on anybody, the priests, the rituals, the authority, especially in the world of the spirit, in the world of so-called spirituality. One must be a light to oneself, and you cannot be a light to yourself if you're always depending on somebody else. And this dependence to end it, not in some years but now, which is ending is death. And when you end something, in that ending there is great beauty. Not in that which is continuous,